comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar.
Not everywhere in the US is a good place to buy a rental property. Some places are just too expensive. Some just don't have strong enough rents. But there are some cities out there that are perfect for you, a first time or a seasoned investor. Let me show you guys the 10 best places to buy in 2024. Welcome to Real Estate Talk. Today, you're gonna get 10 cities that are incredible. They're gold mines and they are ready for you to start buying. But before we do that, there's one very important question that we have to answer. How do real estate investors even begin to find a good city to buy in? What's the criteria? Is there a secret formula or some sort of secret society that knows all this information? No, there are just simple rules to follow that you can follow as well to get success. First few things that you want to keep in mind is you want to find a city that has good population growth, city that has good job growth, and you want to know the median home price of that area. So if you have a city that has a good strong population growth, jobs are really good, there's maybe a lot of tech industries, or there's just a really good business or something that's there that is making that community thrive, and you don't have an area that has a really expensive median home price, that is the key to finding the perfect properties. So we're gonna start with number 10 first, and we're gonna work our way up to what I feel is gonna be one of the best cities to buy going into 2024. Stick around for number 1 because it is a personal favorite of mine. Now that we know what to look for, number 10, Nashville, Tennessee. Outside of some really good music and really good food, Nashville is a great place to start your investing career. Even though the housing market has been kind of slowing there, that's not a deal breaker at all. Even with a slight decrease in growth, Nashville is still seeing a high demand for housing. There are 3 important factors that are making this city so desirable. You have the activity in their local market, property values are growing, and the local economy is doing amazing. According to doorloop.com, the median home price is $448,000. Now, yes, that's a little bit more expensive than some of these places on the list, but that's still not bad and actually on par with the average house in America. While right now the average rent for a 3-bedroom single family house in Nashville is renting for about $2,300. Moving to number 9, we have none other than Tampa, Florida. According to doorloop.com, the median purchase price in Tampa is around $323,000. The average rent is sitting just over $1,900. So as you can see, home prices here are a little bit better than in number 10 in Nashville. But what really stands out for Tampa is its growth. Very few cities in America can say they have Tampa, Florida style growth. The growth in their real estate has grown by about 28% in the previous year. And that's amazing considering their population has only grown by 1.5%. What's better for you as an investor is that the rental rates have increased by 39%. That's exactly what you want to hear as an investor. For example, if you have that average rent of $1,970, that same rent, if it continues with the trend, will grow to $2,700. That is massive. Coming in at number 8, we have Austin, Texas. Home of good barbecue, a nice sprawling city that is starting to grow like crazy. This city is great for rental properties. Austin, Texas is a hidden gem in the state. For those of you who have been there, you'll know the city is clean, it's beautiful, and it has so much to offer. What's more incredible is over the past decade, the home prices have more than doubled. What's making this surge happen is there's a lot of big Silicon Valley tech companies that are moving from California to Austin, and they're doing so because of cheap land and better taxes. Another big thing, which is great for rentals, a low unemployment rate. They were sitting at right around 4.2%, which is definitely below the American average. All of this leads to a near perfect storm for rental properties. In the area, the average 3-bedroom single family house rents for just under $3,000 at $2,940. Moving to lucky number 7, we have Charlotte, North Carolina. Over the past year or two, the market has grown by a very solid 16.4%. One of the biggest factors was due to the high population growth. A lot of people were moving from the west to the east because of cheaper home prices. Also, they have a ton of colleges. This leads to a workforce that is willing to rent. Even with all that said, home prices are still very affordable. Because those home prices are so affordable, this makes it a perfect place for you as a new investor to start your journey. With the average home price being right under $330,000, this is a great place for you to get in if you don't have a lot of money to start with. I've been to North Carolina. Some of those beaches on the East Coast are phenomenally beautiful. They're gorgeous, they're crystal clear. Who wouldn't want to live in such a beautiful area? Especially with the average rent sitting right under $1,900 for a 3-bedroom house. Moving on to number 6, Birmingham, Alabama. I've driven through Birmingham a couple of times over the past few years, and let me tell you, every time I drive through, it seems to get bigger and bigger. This city boasts one of the best appreciation rates in the country. What's more crazy is when the market really wasn't doing too well, home values in Birmingham were still appreciating and going up. If you thought Charlotte, North Carolina was cheap to get into, the home price here in Birmingham, Alabama is around $216,000, with the median rent sitting at $1,300. With prices and rents that low, the person you are trying to attract to become a renter just grew exponentially. Think about it, it is so much easier to rent for $1,300 than it is for $2,300. There are more people who can just afford $1,300 a month. And let's not forget about their job market. Their job market is growing at a really good pace. Okay, have you all noticed a trend here going through the first 5 properties? I'll give it a second. Think about it. What have we seen with the first 5 picks on this list? There has not been one single city on the West Coast. That is not a mere accident or coincidence. Big markets like California or even up north like New York, they're just too expensive. They're oversaturated and there's no room for improvement or growth. That's why recently so many people have moved from those big cities to smaller cities here in the South and the East Coast. Speaking of East Coast, we have another North Carolina city halfway there at number 5, Raleigh, North Carolina. The Raleigh-Durham area is a huge metropolitan area that is so affordable compared to its counterparts. Usually when you hear big cities, you automatically assume expensive rent, expensive home prices, but not here. I have a friend who's an agent up there and says the market is just so good and primed for 2024 and rental properties. The population there has a high amount of young people, which leads to 43% of the population being a renter. With numbers like that, that is easily about 10% above the national average. With the median home price sitting right around $433,000 and rent just barely sitting above $2,000, it's still very affordable for a lot of people to buy. You as an investor should not be worried about finding a renter here, especially with the high population of young people. Getting closer to the first spot, sitting here at number 4, we have our very first entry in the West Coast, Las Vegas, Nevada. What makes this city so attractive is its appreciation values. It is by far going to be the highest appreciation value on this list, sitting at a whopping 75%. That is insane for any market at any time in history. I don't care where you look, that is insane. With the market there having very low vacancy rates and a very high rent to income ratio, this is almost the perfect city to buy in right now. But be wary, this trend may not continue if the home prices rise too fast. Moving to a city that is up north, and at number 3, we have Columbus, Ohio. Y'all in the north, y'all didn't think I was gonna forget about you, did you? Y'all have some great cities up there, but Columbus made the list. And let me tell you why. Columbus has a really low cost of living, which you don't find everywhere, which is gonna make this area very attractive for new families looking to move. This city also has a very low housing median, sitting at $240,000. Very affordable for you first-time investors out there. And with rent sitting just below $1,700 at $1,680, it is very affordable for people to move there and rent. But one of the most promising things about this city is that the home prices here will not stay low forever. With their rising population and their booming economy, it is only a matter of time before home prices in Columbus start to rise. So your equity potential is insane. And according to doorloop.com, appreciation values here are 8.4%. Coming in at the number 2 spot, and this might shock some of you, Dallas, Texas. Let's hear it for all those Cowboy fans who love the Cowboys. Now I can hear the comments going, city is too big, population is too much, what on earth are you talking about? How could this city be good? But let's look at these numbers. The average home price is around $397,000, below the average American price. And these numbers are only expected to rise. What's more crazy is the average rent is $2,800. So with low home prices and very high rental rates, you as an investor should love this city. Your cash flow is going to be so strong with the potential of rising equity. Not only is the Dallas area really big and sprawling, but there are a ton of huge tech companies that are moving to this area. Same thing like Austin. You have low taxes and really cheap land. Now, sitting at the #1 spot, this one is a personal favorite of mine. I travel here every year, Orlando, Florida. Now, when most people think of Orlando, they think of Disney World, they think of Universal Studios. They don't think of potentially an amazing rental market, but let's look at these numbers. There are reports of 1,000 new residents moving to Orlando every single week. And I guarantee you, not all of those people can buy a house. What's more impressive though is of that 1,000 people, on average, 55% of them are renting and not buying. Orlando's home prices have been going crazy. The year-over-year change is 19%, with the median home price being $379,000. Again, well below the American average, with rent coming in at a very strong $2,400 a month. Another thing that Orlando has going for it is that it made the #2 spot on the Forbes fastest growing cities in America. With numbers like that, it's hard to pass up on Orlando, Florida. And not to mention, Orlando has a huge Airbnb population, especially around the Disney World area. So what do you guys think of this list? Which city would you like to buy your very first investment property? Do you have any investment properties in any of these cities? Comment down below if you own in any of these cities. If you're interested in getting into rental properties and want to avoid some huge mistakes, click on this video right here.